we are officially live here on Facebook. Wow, that's all I have to say, Eli. Is just what we just watched. I think that's what March basketball is. I think John Rothstein says this is March, period. I think that's what March is. But really, before we get into this, I want to read something that John Fanta said at the end of the game. And then this will, I'm sure Jacob Dar's name will come up a lot in this conversation, but something he said is a stat that really stuck out to me. So he said Jacob Dar is the first player in Big East tournament history with 15 or less minutes. Say with me, 15 or less minutes. No, 15 points, 15 or less minutes on 6 or less field goal shots. That is incredible. And for anyone who's a fan of the NCAA tournament, I mean, you know the bet, and I know this isn't the NCAA tournament, but anyone who's a fan of college hoops in March, that's when the unsung heroes come up. And for us today, it was Jacob Dar. Just an incredible game. The Pirates, fought every time Creighton gave us their best. Creighton's not a bad team by any measure, but anytime they gave us our best, we responded on the biggest stage, the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, the middle of Manhattan. I mean, it's honestly, it's really good vibes right now. We know there's a game tomorrow, but just really good vibes, really good spirits. I mean, Eli, like, what's your first reaction to what we just saw?
I mean, I think I speak for all Seton Hall fans. I don't think many of us had a big hope in today's game. You could say, like, I know in school, because I was in school during the game when it first started and the ball tipped, we didn't have a lot of hope heading into the game, but we were all surprised, once our class ended, that at halftime we had a decent lead, and we all said to ourselves then, hey, you know what? This team might actually win it. We might actually go far. And this is a team where we saw Creighton, where they won their matches versus Creighton, and they know how to play against these tougher teams like St. John's, UConn, which they could have absolutely won, and fortunately was losses. So I think we're all pretty much shocked. We're all happy about it. I think if there are two notes from the game that I have to bring up, I would say that Payne didn't play great, and the 3-point field goals, we didn't make half of them again. We did 4 for 10. We didn't make half of them, which is not ideal, but at least we had it. We stayed at 10, which is a good part, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I know John Fanta and me and my fiance Brielle, we kept like looking at each other. At the end of the game, John Fanta kept saying, "We all know what happened last time Seton Hall played Creighton. They had a 10-point lead with whatever it was." And I'm like, "Come on, John! Like, I know you have to do your job, but I mean, listen, all things considering, whenever you see Creighton in a Big East tournament, knowing what their MO is, knowing the shooting, knowing, the physicality down low they've had the past couple of years with Kolkbrenner. I mean, this Creighton team obviously doesn't necessarily stack up to that team, but they're still very talented. They have a very, very good coach. So, I think as a Seton Hall fan, it's just pride and just coming out and, no matter what people say about the bubble, at this point, it really is survive in advance.
Yeah.
That's the MO. That's what you have to look at for anybody, whether you're Seton Hall, whether you're Butler or Xavier who won yesterday. Like, it's survive in advance. It's a completely new season. Anything can happen. And like Matt said, I mean, Dar was the MVP.
Unbelievable tonight.
I don't know when it comes to scouting how much Creighton was scouting Jacob Dar. And I think that came to our benefit because he was just, your typical just like junkyard dog, getting every rebound. He hit a couple threes, which I know typically isn't his game. But listen, when you're in Madison Square Garden and you know that the season is coming to an end regardless of who you are, that's when, stuff comes out that really shows what kind of player you are. And we might not have seen this Jacob Dar throughout the season, but I think this is just proof that, like, this kid and the rest of this team, like, they're dogs. They're physical, they fight, and we'll see what happens. But I think from just the fan perspective, like this is a really awesome win. They said first time that Seton Hall under Shaw has won a Big East tournament game. I mean, that's much to what he's been able to do. We didn't even talk about it, but yesterday he was named Big East
Coach
of the Year unanimously, which is a great honor. But I think, and I heard his press conference, and I think that's the thing that's the most impressive about that honor. It's your peers are the ones, selecting. So you're talking about a coach like Pitino and a coach like Willard and a coach like McDermott and Smart, like all coaches that have been there and done that. and they all know what good of a job Shaw's doing, and that this team embodies him. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll see when the other guys get on here, but I think just positive game just to go out there, and tomorrow's going to be tough. I mean, I don't think St. John's wants to see us. To be completely honest, I
Absolutely
talked
not.
to a St. John's fan, and he said the same thing. I just don't think that anyone wants to see Seton Hall at this point, in the Garden, a team that just fights, a team that's physical, and like I said, put all that NCAA tournament talk on the side and just win the game ahead of you, and that's what this team did.
Yeah, they did exactly. And yeah, I was just going to bring up earlier, like you brought up, Coach of the Year for Shaheen Holloway, and that is just a story to tell. And he said it yesterday, and I was watching the Instagram reel that they put of him when he was when the announcement came out with his teammates, with the teammates there, and all I could think of was, wow, he really said it best. It is a team win that Coach of the Year. It wasn't just solo for him, and that's what it's all about. And going back to Jacob Dark, because we know that he's getting a lot of praise right now, MVP by Matt Palms, as he mentioned in the comments earlier. Yeah, I mean, what a step up that he has had these past couple games. I mean, look at St. John's in the last game. He put up 11 points, and now today he put up 16 points, plus made some threes. That's what you want to see from guys like him. You want to see him succeed. And hopefully tomorrow, as we play St. John's, again, this is a team that he had 11 points in the last game. He knows their playing style. So this is what we should see. Another big performance from Bud Clark and from Jacob Dar once again tomorrow. So we'll watch out for them. And for those watching, feel free to call in live. You could scan the QR code or click on the link below. And you could also comment anytime in the chats. We have Tom joining us now.
What's up, guys? How we all doing?
Welcome.
Doing great.
What a game. What a game. What a game. What a game. The X Factor, Mr. Dar, coming off the bench and just you saw in the beginning where he made a couple shots and then he took a hit of three. I mean, everything was falling for the guy. So big win for Seton Hall. Unfortunately, we got to turn this around in 24 hours and play St. John's. But all in all, we kept him to 61 points. Tomorrow is going to be a battle. Are you guys going to the game?
I will not be. I had Achilles surgery a couple weeks ago, so I unfortunately cannot. I know it's like getting at me. Like that's where I want to be. Friday night, Madison Square Garden, Seton Hall, St. John's. Like, come on, like that's box office. And I don't know about you, Eli, if you're going tomorrow.
No, I'm working tomorrow night, unfortunately. No. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't that energy be great at the Garden? I mean, that's gonna be awesome.
It's on Fox. It's on
national TV Fox.
National TV for the first game this year, I believe. So that we're on Fox, which is great.
Yeah, from our the four major cable channels, and yeah, if you consider it, yeah, and even
because I had some Peacock lagging, so I'm happy.
Yeah, we're all happy right there, right?
Did you all have the same issue?
Well, I don't have Peacock, and I was on the road, so I was listening to the SOU broadcast on the way here back home. And the good news is for us, the next two games, if we win, will be on Fox, which is tomorrow's game, and if whoever the championship game is, that's on Fox as well. So we are no more streaming for the rest of the road. So that's some positive news.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Just looking at some of the stats here, which is what we're going to need to do tomorrow, is we're going to need to hit about 4 or 5 3-pointers. Yep. We were 4 or 10. Which is good for Seton Hall, not great. Hey, look at this crazy stat. Creighton was 8 for 34 from downtown. 34 threes they took. That was 23% from downtown. So, yeah, I mean, they live and die out there. And unfortunately, when you don't have an inside game, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. One thing I thought what Shaw did pretty well was keeping Dar in. Mike Williams didn't play the second half. I didn't think he played that bad in the first half. Maybe something happened there, but he had 7 points in the first half. So I don't know. He only played 18 minutes, but that was interesting to see how he switched the lineup. I liked, even though Payne couldn't score in the paint with the last 5 minutes of the game, you kind of saw Hines having some issues guarding a little bit, not as quick. All in all, I'm really excited about this win because it was a well-balanced, I would say, across the board. We had, let's see, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players scored today. 9. So that was pretty impressive. And obviously our defense, really shut them down. It was a really well-balanced on both sides. So I'm excited about tomorrow. I think we can beat St. John's. I think it is so hard to win 3. It is so hard, whether it's in the NFL and basketball, 3 straight games. It is so hard to do. Now, you know what's going to happen, Eli, tomorrow. St. John's is going to come out. That place is going to be packed.
Of course.
Right? I don't know if Nick's going to the game. I don't know
sure
if
he is.
Or Bill's going to the game.
Potentially, maybe work.
Yeah.
Bill's,
But,
I think, working, the game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he's media, I think.
Who is Bill?
Yeah. Is he not?
Really?
I could be wrong. I don't know. I know he usually gets media passes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is, but two points. So the first thing is the 9 players scoring. I mean, I would have to look through some box scores, but I don't know how many times that have happened this year. I'm pretty certain, Tom, to your point, like I don't think that has happened many times. So that's the first thing you really have to look at is it was a pretty evenly distributed game, and that's what you want at this point. And the second thing too is I know a lot of games that we've lost this year, the main talking point for Pirates fans have been the 3-point shooting, and the 3-point shooting isn't hitting. And what you said about the 8 for 34 from Creighton, that's proof that it's like, if you know that's not in your DNA, if you know that's not the type of team you are, you have to be more conservative with how many threes you're taking. And Creighton, like you said, they live and die by it. When it works, they're great. When it doesn't work, they're not great. And maybe that's part of the reason why, they're in the position that that they may or may not be, playing in any sort of postseason tournament. But for us, it's like, you say what you can about the threes not going all the time, but we don't rely on that. We rely on a balanced approach. And when the threes did hit in the beginning and they hit throughout the game, that's really when you see a level of Seton Hall team that I think stands above a lot of teams in this conference.
No, I agree with you. This is probably the first game the Hall had that many people scoring. The only one who didn't score was Josh Rivera, and Rivera only got 3 minutes. He didn't play much, but I would love to hear Nick's perspective when their head coach from Creighton jumped onto the court and didn't get a technical there. That was ridiculous. I mean, from the TV, he's almost at mid-court there, in the middle of the court, yelling at the refs there, and, he should have gotten a tee. I don't know if you guys saw that or caught that.
I've never seen that before. That was the first time I ever saw a coach. And it was funny because, and the announcers even said it, through Shaw complaining, he was almost as out as McDermott was. So at that point, you kind of just throw away the idea of having a coach's box in general, that you're letting McDermott. I mean, he was pretty close to the free throw line. So, I mean, at that point, and I know there's been a lot of instances in the past. I think when we played Creighton a few years ago, where the crowd was like really cheering for him to get a tee in situations when he should have. But yeah, I mean, listen, at that point in the game, luckily we didn't need that to happen. But I mean, should it have happened? Yeah, definitely. It's just you're not allowed to go that far onto the court.
I think tomorrow's game, I think we're going to need to throw a little zone in there. St. John's is not a great 3-point shooting team. Obviously, their big guy down low who, man, somehow, if he plays 20 minutes, he gets 21 points.
Yeah.
He had that today. He only played 21 minutes because he got into foul trouble. And that's the same thing that he had against us a week ago when, he got into foul trouble, but he still gets his 20 and 10. So I like to see tomorrow a little zone, something to throw a curveball at Patino that maybe he hasn't seen. If the Red Storm comes out and starts hitting threes, and it could be a long day for Seton Hall because their interior offense is pretty good, as we know with their 2 big guys there. So all in all, yeah, we got to enjoy today, but, we got to turn this around in 24 and a half hours. We're going to be on the court there watching this game. And I'm sure Coach Shaw is going to have them prepared. Yes, for the next hour we can celebrate, but we've got to go back to the tape and watch how we played against St. John's, what worked, what didn't work. And I'm hoping that the game plan that they have is going to be it's going to be a battle. I mean, St. John's, Bettino even said it. He doesn't want to play Seton Hall in any tournament. He said it. They're just too good of a defensive team, and so we'll see. I hope we can fill that Madison Square Garden with some. I wish I could come up from North Carolina to go to that game, but it won't happen. But I'm excited, guys. I think right here it's all about momentum as you come into the end of the season here. This was a win where it was a seesaw in the beginning, how teams were reacting. Shaw made a couple changes there, and then boom, we just took off, both offensively and defensively. So I don't know what your perspective is, Eli, and what where we are right now, and where we can get finished this next weekend.
Well, it's definitely going to be a tough game tomorrow because, again, Madison Square Garden, St. John's home. We know they're going to represent. They're going to come out hard. I think for Seton Hall, the key is to get rest tonight. I mean, they have a quick turnaround because the game is not 8 o'clock. It is a 5:30 p.m. game. That is a very quick turnaround because the game just ended, 15 minutes ago or so? So that is a quick turnaround, less than 24 hours. You got to get back early. We don't know what practice situation is going to be like. We're not sure. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, or if anybody knows if they're in New York or back at Seton Hall and they have to commute. We don't know how that works.
As a manager, just to kind of get, or a former manager, just to give insight. So what it looks like is they'll stay in the city.
Okay.
They'll probably have like maybe some sort of shoot around. So usually what happens is the teams that are there are assigned a local college or high school or something gym. I think my year we were at Baruch College. So I'm sure, they'll get their shots up. They'll do what they have to do in the morning. And then maybe they'll do some sort of walkthrough as well along that time. But listen, I mean, it's obviously a tight turnaround, but I think that these players, they probably played like 5 AAU games a day when they were available.
That's true too, but it's a different tone, it's different in college. And we know what Shaw puts them through in the practice and stuff. And tonight I was doing a Shoot TV show. I was producing this week behind the scenes. We did David Gabriel was our guest this week on the show. I was behind the scenes, and he just says that it was a lot of tough workouts going through. And that episode drops tonight, by the way, at 7. And the full interview will be available with David Gabriel on the YouTube. But still, it's a lot of tough practices, and he puts them to work. And especially when you have this short of a turnaround, it's definitely a toll on these guys. And now it's going to be, another game tomorrow. And then what happens next? That's the question. I know we have to take it one game at a time and stuff, but it's going to be a lot happening within these next 24 to 48 hours for these guys. And it's already been leading up to today's game versus Crane. And now we got a plan for tomorrow, which is versus St. John's, which, again, the last time they were at the Garden, they had the lead at halftime, didn't go the way second half. And we lost that game, bottom line.
Yeah, also our foul shooting was pretty good. Payne making those last two at the end that kind of sealed it. That was, I was like, just give us one. So we shot 20 out of 26 from the foul line, that's acceptable for me. And then if you look at Creighton, they were 13 of 18. They didn't go to the foul line. So what does that mean? We didn't foul a lot. We didn't turn the ball over, which is, they had a couple at the end, but we only had 6 turnovers the entire game. This is I would say, and us to beat St. John's tomorrow. If I look at these stats that I'm looking at right now, this would be a recipe to win tomorrow. From the foul line, from the 3-point and the turnovers, and then points in the paint. We dominated. Obviously, that's our game, is to go inside and score, points in the paint. So I think we had 30 points in the paint, 30. So that's a well balanced, offensive attack here. So I'm excited, guys. I wish this game was right now. I could watch it because we're riding high. We're like I said, when teams are playing well, and like I coach basketball, our championship game is on Saturday for my team. We came into the playoffs just peaking, and now it's just I know this is only one game, but this was something special for Seton Hall. A lot of hype around Shaw getting Coach of the Year, right? So how are the players going to react? They reacted, they responded, and I'm excited. And I'll let you all talk because I got to run to the airport. And you guys, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think to that point too about today being special is I think something unique happens when it's the Big East tournament and it's Madison Square Garden, and there's been 30, 40 years of legacy games and Kemba Walker and Jerry McNamara's. You can make memories and make moments, and I think today for Jacob Darba, for the team as a whole, this was very much like a moment type thing, and hopefully it carries us into tomorrow. I mean, I think to the point Tom said about St. John's, I think they're a very like whack-a-mole type team. When we saw that when Zuby went out too, is you knock someone down, another guy will step up. So I think for us, it's figuring out over the next 24 hours, who do you focus on? What's your game plan? Obviously, getting Ejiofor in foul trouble, that would be ideal. But at the same time, they have shooters. I was watching the game today, and Sellers, the guard, was hitting threes. So I know the game we played them, the point guard was playing well. So I think for them, it's like they have so much talent that you really just have to, pick who you're going to zone in on. I think the zone, like Tom said, is a good idea. But definitely, I mean, you can't get too high, you can't get too low against a team like St. John's, because basketball is a game of runs. We'll get ours, they'll get theirs. But yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow is setting up to be a really good one. What do you think, Bill? Oh, there goes Bill.
Bill just left. We're gonna get back to him. You got two people calling in now. I'm gonna go to Stack Monster first because he's waving around something right now.
Oh, did I mention that I love my coach? Have I mentioned? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah.
Look, autographs from all the players. It's different from the basketball I had from last year. Was autographed by the 7 and 25 team. How about that, guys? Oh my God. Do you ever just have to listen to the game while you're driving and you can't actually watch? The stress was killing me, man. Oh, it was killing. Any feedback from Pops at the game there? Young Mr. Romano?
So I'm sure he called WSOU. Unfortunately, I mean, listen, I'll know everything, but he did. I don't know how, but he got pretty good tickets. He was, if you look behind the bench, him, my sister, and my mom were kind of over a little bit. So I'm like, oh, look at you. Like he got some good camera shots. But no, I mean, listen, he's obviously Mr. Positive, and I think he's probably like ecstatic. He was, I don't want to out him, but I got a picture of him drinking a beer at like 10 a.m. So, just to kind of give you the picture of what going to the Big East tournament, looks like. And I mean, it's honestly, I have so many good experiences of it as a kid, and it's such a special place. But listen, he has to be ecstatic. I know, Stack Monster, you're obviously, you bring the energy every day. You bring it on Twitter. You bring it to the games. But we really need to keep this going. And I can't be at the game tomorrow. But listen, I hope that these Seton Hall fans that's Rocky. I hope these Seton Hall fans in attendance really bring it, because it's going to be a red wave, unfortunately, just because of where we're playing. But hopefully, our fans bring it. And like I was telling Eli, I think that if there are some UConn and Villanova fans in the crowd, they're going to root for us too. So let's see. Let's kind of hope that it's we can fight that red a little bit.
By the way, does this camera make my nose look bigger? So anyway, I'm telling you, man. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a beer, and I'm going to rewatch the game. I watched the first half. Hope, is there anybody from Athene where I work? Right now, because I got done with my last student, my last treatment. I went into my office, I had my little phone, and I was watching the first half, like 7-point game. Yeah, But you know what kept sticking in the back of my mind? Probably because I'm paranoid. All those missed shots at the bucket, like the layups, the putbacks that we missed in that first half. I was like, oh man, it's gonna bite me, and I don't have much to go, much left there anyway. And then even though I was listening, we imagine how good we'd be if we could make shots consistently. Oh my Lord, we'd be
top
so
25.
good.
We'd be consistently a top 25 team. I mean,
Absolutely.
especially in the beginning of the season when McRae was really going. That's when we saw our most success.
Now, if we are, you guys have been on. I don't know how long you've been on the show here, but what's the consensus or the feedback? Like, if we were to make it to the Big East Championship, if we beat St. John's and get to the championship game, win or lose, do you think we still have a shot? I mean, I don't know. You read so much. I know nothing. And if you don't believe me, ask my wife.
I think the bubble is a mess this year. I know a lot of teams are losing that should be in. I know Miami of Ohio lost, which, is going to create a lot of discourse on if they should make it or not. So, I mean, honestly, it could go either way. I know a couple of years ago, we'll never forget when we got shafted, when we should have made it. And that was a year that the bubble, teams got in that shouldn't have got in. They stole bids. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how concentrated the team is on that. I feel like from, playing perspective, you just win what you can. But listen, if we do, let's say hypothetically, if we do win tomorrow and then lose in the finals, I personally believe we're a tournament team. I believe today we're a tournament team, as I think you guys do too. But yeah, I mean, I think at this point, and the beauty of the Big East tournament is you just do what's in front of you. And I think today we took care of business in a game that very much could have gone the other way, but I think we took care of business.
Did I mention that I love my coach?
I think you did.
Coach of the year.
So what was I going to say? Because when you get old, you forget things. Just ask your dad if he remembers who you are. But that being said, so afterwards, I actually, oh yeah, I know what I was going to say. On the post-game show, I was listening. First of all, I'm going back. I backtrack. I digress. Listening to Gary Cohen and Dave Popkin was awesome. I actually somehow figured out when I got home and caught the last 5 minutes on the TV, I actually figured out how to sync up the call on the app to the game. So I wasn't listening to the broadcast. I was listening to the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. Cohen and Popkin are so good. Do you guys ever listen to them?
They're amazing.
I'm a Mets fan, so I'm a fan of Gary Cohen, so maybe I'm not being objective, but damn, he's good. Oh, he's so good. I used to videotape my son's games and my daughter's games growing up, and I would do the play-by-play. I would do the analysis. I would do whatever came to my brain. As you've seen, that's not always a good thing. But actually, seriously, calling a game is it's not that easy, and
it's hard.
Just listen to Gary Cohen sometime. He's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he paints the picture, and I think as Seton Hall fans, we're incredibly lucky to have two people that have been doing it for as long as they have. But also Gary Cohen, who's so renowned in his own field, and I think he's a Mets Hall of Famer or something. So I mean, we're very privileged as a Seton Hall fan base to have.
I love listening to them, and it was really it made it enjoyable as stressful as it is. Listening as you're driving, and then there's this pickup truck in front of me, and I'm like, come on, hurry up. And I'm like, shh, don't tell anybody, but on Roxidicus Road in Mendham, I passed the truck on a double yellow line. Don't tell
You did it for Seton Hall hoops.
I did it.
If you got pulled over, just say, listen, my team's in a dogfight. It's the Big East tournament. But offer him a ticket to next year, You know
what I can't wait for, though? I can't wait for another 18 months when I get these braces off. So when I talk to you guys online, I'm not lisping like this. So anyway, look, I know you guys got real important and actually insightful analysis to probably get to. So I'm going to let you guys go and get back to what you guys do best. And I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to have a nice vanilla porter and rewatch the second half of the game.
Yes. And bring the energy from your house tomorrow, too. They're going to need it.
Over and out.
Thank you, Mr. Sackmonster. We got Matt P joining us now, and then we'll get to Bill.
What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
All right.
What's up?
Great win by the Pirates. Jacob Dar, our bench MVP, I'll call it, with Bud Clark. Let's just say the officiating was very good. I don't know if Pat Driscoll was asleep because he called the last game at night last night, but he was very fair. I thought Clarity was fair in Chiazza. So, I just wish we picked up the second half where we kind of let down in the beginning of that second half. Overall, it's a win. We move on. Tomorrow we play St. John's. We've got to play them very tough. We got to take them out of their game. Like you guys mentioned, the crowd's going to be favored more towards them, and that's why I'm a big proponent now of moving the Big East tournament out of Madison Square Garden, as long as St. John's is going to play all their games, home games, at Madison Square Garden. If we can't play the Big East tournament in Prudential Center, they shouldn't be able to play at the Garden. I know a lot of people like playing there, but it shouldn't be played there. The Big East tournament is supposed to be played on a neutral court. St. John's is not playing on a neutral court tomorrow. And, I've been sending emails to the Big East commissioner since St. John's has been playing majority of their games at home. With that said, I won't, keep dwelling on that, but we need the Pirate Nation after this tournament is over other coaches have been proponents of moving it. UConn coach Dan Hurley wants to move it because no one wants to play in the Garden anymore. Yes, it's a nice place, but it's pro St. John's now. Supposed to be that way. The Big East tournament tickets are supposed to be distributed equally, but unfortunately St. John's, gets the upper hand a little bit on that, and we love to, see how that could be, worked on. But getting back to the game, interesting lineup. He went with Clark, Fisher, Parker, Simpkins, and Jacob Dar down the stretch. And then subbed in McCray and Payne. And Hines was a little because of his foul trouble. But, so you got to give him credit. Coach of the year for a reason. I mean, he took us from where we were suggested in the polls all the way up to where we are. We finished 10-10, and we won a key game. I mean, Creighton we knew was going to be, tough at the 3-point, and for them to shoot 24% and not really, I got nervous there, and Dix got hot, thought he was going to, get it in. And, but like I said, you guys do, you guys are filling in for Pops. He went to the game. I'm glad he got to go to the game. That's one of my ultimate goals is to get there for a Big East tournament game.
There's nothing like it. There really isn't anything like it.
No, I mean, it's a great tournament. I hear a lot of positive feedback over it. But again, we outshot them in the second half as well as the first half and held on for, a key win. Focusing on tomorrow, when they sub out, Ubi or Uji or whatever you want to call it, sorry to pronounce his name wrong. But when they're going to sub him out and put Prey in, Prey's what hurt us last game when we played them home. If we could defend very well tomorrow and keep St. John's to a low score in the first half and the second, we have a very good chance of winning that game tomorrow. Very good chance. Moving on from there, we win that game. We are definitely in the NCAA tournament. Now, with that said, win or lose tomorrow, if we lose, we have to see what happens with the bubble. It's very tough. There, like you guys mentioned, UMass took down Miami, Ohio today. So does Miami, Ohio get in, and the winner of that conference gets in as well? And those nets are really higher than there. I mean, Miami has a net ranking a little bit lower, and not. And I don't know how you guys want to say this, but we're right now on the Ken Palm at 50. But we really need to be a little bit higher.
Do you guys think
but
they should get in?
who should get in? Miami, Ohio.
Miami of Ohio.
I think it's going to be very tough. They didn't play a lot of quad 1, quad 2 games. So their strength of schedule is weak. We've been criticized for having a weak strength of schedule this year, but we did, we play in the Big East. So, every game in the Big East was a very, quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, type of game. No quad 4s. They play a ton of quad 4 games. So they basically, if they get in, it's going to be because they, were 31-1. It's not going to be because of, of anything else. I mean, it's going to be tough. I don't. They're probably going to get in.
I agree.
They're going to get in because of their record, and let's see what they could do. There's a lot of teams that are making the dance because they won their conference tournaments, and not because they had a winning record. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are probably better than them, meaning record-wise, but and I mean record because they played tougher schedule because of their conference. Unfortunately, our conference, and Shaw kind of hinted on this, is that every game was a tough game for us. Big East. It's not that the Big East isn't good this year, meaning the records don't show it. It's a very tough conference to play in because every night, you don't know. I mean, look at DePaul, how they were way down, but their net is like 102 compared to what we are. It'd be very interesting. Tomorrow's game, I'm hoping, is very close, and we pull it out. I'm very optimistic. I kind of showed this to Pops Romano. I sent him a screenshot that we actually won the Big East tournament. But I had Butler winning over Providence and then Butler taking down St. John's. So that didn't happen. But I think we play either UConn or Villanova in the final game. And that's where my take is on the rest of the tournament. I don't know. Like I said, win or lose tomorrow, I hope we win because it just increased our chances of making the NCAA tournament, and that would be a great thing for Shaw, being coach of the year, and then taking the team to the NCAA tournament. 2 years ago we won the NIT. I don't want to think of NIT right now. I just want to think of NCAA tournament, and before even that, I want to take down St. John's tomorrow. I really do.
Absolutely.
I don't
sweet.
like.
That would be really sweet.
I think if we lose if we do win tomorrow, and we do lose the championship game, I think that would be the biggest win, that we got to beat St. John's at least one of the 3 times. I think that's the goal. And I want to
prevent them from repeating too.
Yeah.
So
and I want to add to your thing about the Madison Square Garden thing. I think Madison Square Garden, is the perfect place, obviously, to host the Big East tournament. Yes, you're absolutely right. St. John's is favored, but if we are, thinking about it, a couple of years ago, St. John's wasn't that great, and now all of a sudden, they're one of the best, and they are likely going to make a March Madness run. And I think that's why I think us as Seton Hall fans and around the league, we're saying this. And I think if we are going to do a neutral site, so we don't have to do like the Mohegan Sun for the women's basketball, things like that, I think the best place to put it, if we are doing neutral site, UBS Arena doesn't hold the college basketball team in the Big East, right down in Long Island. To me, that would be the place to play the Big East tournament if we wanted to go to a neutral site.
I mean, I think that's what the conference was designed to, but unfortunately, St. John's only played one or four. Your father would know, and other callers may know how many games St. John's only played at the MSG,
Right.
and it's still considered a neutral court. But when the Madison Square Garden picks up a lot of tournaments to play in, and St. John's plays a lot of their games there, it's no longer a neutral site. If Big East is
Right.
supposed to play on a neutral site, the women, I think they moved it where to
Mohegan Sun in
Mohegan Sun.
Connecticut.
but wasn't it in Chicago, in DePaul?
Yeah,
Right.
for a couple of years it was in Chicago. I think because realistically, with that tournament, you put it in Mohegan Sun, you're going to sell out because UConn fans are going to be there. So that's probably a large, reason why they did that.
There's no clear winner though. That's the thing.
Yeah, which it's a different problem to itself.
Yeah.
I was watching the games, and our women's team did really, really well. But
Yeah.
it's just UConn is just a different level. They're undefeated. They're the favorite to win the national championship, and it's a different level just because of the history behind them and the type of players they have.
I'm going to bring in Bill Hathaway because he keeps waving and trying to get in. So I'm going to bring him on. Bill, are you there? Your mic's not working. Your mic's not working. You got to unmute. Hit mute and then unmute. No, he can't hear you. Try coming back in and out.
That MSG Wi-Fi might not be that strong.
That too. Back to you, Matt. Sorry.
That's where he's at. So what do you guys think down the stretch? I mean,
Bill, you there? Oh,
no. Okay. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think me personally, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the season that it's been. Last year, to be completely honest, as a Seton Hall fan, it was hard to follow. I didn't really follow the schedule as much because on a Wednesday night against Marquette, you kind of knew what the result was going to be. I think this team went into every game with a legit chance to win, and they won some great games, and they lost some games they should have won, but that's every season. I think either it's the media room in the Garden. But I was saying, I think obviously the goal is to win, but either way, I think we should all be hold our heads pretty high for what we've seen the past couple of months.
Bill, can you hear us now? Bill,
guys, I'm gonna jump off. Thanks again for hosting the show.
No problem. Thank you for joining us.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. So we can't figure out, Bill. It's probably that MSG Wi-Fi. It's MSG Wi-Fi for you. So
if you had to give me, and we can both do this, and if anyone else wants to, just a general prediction for tomorrow. I think it can go all over the place because both us and St. John's can score, in the 60s or 70s or 80s. But if you just have to give like a general kind of score, what would you put on it tomorrow?
A kind of score for tomorrow. Oof,
or a spread if you'd rather do a spread.
Last time the Seton Hall played them, 72-65 was the final. Today the final score is 72-61. I think it's gonna be a lot closer tomorrow. I'm gonna go with.
Can you guys hear me?
61-68, yeah. And yes, Bill, we can hear you.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
Hope all was well. I was trying to get my camera fixed. Seton Hall won a big game tonight. Like you said, the score. Jacob Dar did an excellent job. Actually doing well. He actually had. Let me look at my score sheet. Jacob Dar had. He was one of the key players in the game. I guess he had 12 or 13 points, Nick Jr. And Adam Clark.
I think he had like 15, right?
Yeah. Adam Clark had 16 points, 7 rebounds. They actually, rebounded. They actually out-rebounded Creighton 42-39, which was a great thing. A big win for the Pirates. I mean, you can't get better than this. Semifinal round, the third time is the charm against Seton Hall and St. John's. All is good in New York right now. The Pirates will be staying overnight and get
So
ready for a big semifinal game.
how was the Seton Hall representation there as far as Seton Hall fans? I'm just interested.
Oh, it was excellent. It was excellent. It was excellent. It was excellent. I thought it was excellent. It was outstanding. It's pretty good. You play a good game. The team actually shot 26 free throws tonight. They actually did well tonight for the free throws. If they consolidate the same thing they did against Creighton, they can be in the championship round. And that's what Coach Shaheen Holloway is talked about in the press conference. He basically said that his team, is come, they don't know. He spoke to the kids prior to the game, how big this game is. In the semifinal round in Madison Square Garden, which is home of the Big East tournament for many years. I've been here. This is my 4th year here. It's a great feeling to be here, covering the event. Actually, another thing, guys, Seton Hall points from turnovers, 15 points from turnovers, 30 points in the paint from and the bench points came off a lot. Like I consistently said on the show, the bench of Shaheen Holloway did well. They scored 30 points off the bench. They did real well. I mean, I think this team might go see them in the finals. They have a good possibility of going into the NCAA at this moment. But like Shaheen Holloway said, it's one game at a time. I think the team shooting was well presented tonight. Let me see. Look at my stats. They were 43% in the first half. The second half, they got up to free throws 78%, 3-pointers 2 for 5, 40%. Jacob Dar, I mean, he actually came in and showed out for the Pirates tonight. He was the 6th man tonight, Jacob Dar. As I talked about in the show previously, you're talking about the crowd. The crowd contribute, and Jacob Dar was the guy of tonight. And if that same lineup could come in tomorrow night and beat St. John's, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, like you said, Eli. But we'll see tomorrow. It's a great thing.
Yeah, exactly, and thanks for that, Bill. Something else I just saw on Twitter too. You're talking about the press conference. This is a quote from AJ State and McCray, and it actually makes me feel like really strong. Just it proves to where the mindset of the players are, like you're saying about Shaw.
Yeah.
And he was asked what Seton Hall needs to do tomorrow to win. He said, "We know what we have to bring to win the game. We got to play 40 minutes, not 37, not 39.2." 40. We need to give a good 40. This team is aware. This team.
Exactly.
I know
this team has. Matter of fact, this team has woken. Like the Giant has woken. This team has woken. 21-win season right now. You can't get better than that. What surprised me, I covered the award ceremony yesterday. Shaheen Holloway was voted Coach of the Year by his peers. I've never seen it before, but he's well deserved. He's turned the program from a 7-22 season to a 21-10 season right now, and they're at the semifinals of the Big East tournament. What could we say about that, guys?
No, they're in position to be in position, and they're exactly where you want to be. I mean, tomorrow I was looking at ticket prices, and I mean, it's a hot ticket. It's the Big East tournament, it's the semifinals, it's the Garden. You potentially can have UConn, you can potentially have Villanova. You have St. John's, you have us. So that's exactly where you want to be. And there's only 4 teams out of the conference that get there. And that's pretty impressive considering the fact that there are very talented teams. And
what's crazy about this, Nick Jr.? In the game against Creighton and Seton Hall at the Prudential Center, Seton Hall was down 15. And they came back and beat them. And now they beat them for the semifinal round in the Big East, in the biggest tournament in America, I think. I think this team has got to put the foot on the gas now to finish it out and come back Saturday.
and keep it there. I mean, how many complete 40? I know it's hard to have a complete 40-minute game, but I mean, they have to just keep it there, regardless of what the score is. They were up 9 today. Creighton had got a run. Not to say St. John's won't go on a run, but you just have to, keep that intensity and really frustrate them because they have, there's a lot more pressure on them tomorrow.
And the spread has opened up at 7.5 favored for St. John's, according to Fox Sports.
Which in my mind is too high. I understand it, but in my mind it's a little too high. But,
the Seton Hall's record is 21-11. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Today's game, Seton Hall was favored 3.5 for Creighton, according to Fox Sports. So 7.5 it's a big number for tomorrow for Seton Hall. We'll see the test what happens next.
And we covered.
And the team scored. And the team in the second at halftime, they had a 7-point lead. It was a great game. But fellas, I got to go grab me something to eat before I hit my train. I appreciate you guys. Unfortunately, my camera wasn't working because I'm in the garden right now. But I'm glad I joined the show tonight.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Back home.
Safe travels. And yeah,
All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
Hey, before I go, Eli, remember I told you about the game against St. John's in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Maybe the Pokemon cards will be coming out tomorrow. The free giveaway.
You're the Pokemon cards.
You know what's funny? It's crazy because after the game, it was just wild. It's like the Pokemon cards have arrived tomorrow night. I don't know if they're going to give them out at the end of the game. Or to be given a pirate cards handing out at the end of the game.
At station, Bill, looking for those Pokemon cards.
What I'm saying is though, either they're gonna give the Pokemon cards out or the Seton Hall baseball cards out. Okay. It was just a joke. Hey, Nick Jr., good job tonight. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate
Peace
it.
out.
Yeah, he's all for those Pokemon cards. I don't know. But yeah, most of the crew that usually joins the post-game show, they're on New Jersey Transit on the way home right now, trying to get home. So, but yeah, the Seton Hall wins 72-61. Tomorrow they're back at it. They have St. John's spread opened up at 7.5, 5:30 on Fox. Now going forward, they will have TV coverage the rest of the way because the Big East Championship is also on Fox. And if they do make March Madness, of course, it's on TNT Sports and CBS Sports, which is huge for us. My prediction, going back to your question earlier, I think 71-69 is my prediction for that game tomorrow. I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think, despite it being home and despite the spread being pretty large for St. John's.
I think we win. I think we rise to the occasion. I think, St. John's, has the talent and, to say something that's to sound like someone who's beating a dead horse. I mean, they have the NIL, which ultimately, allows them to, succeed the way they're succeeding. But I think we just want it more. I think we understand what's at stake. We battled today. St. John's, they won big. Their intensity is not going to be the same going into tomorrow because they were pretty comfortable for the majority of that game. They're a great team. Patino's a great coach, but listen, I mean, it's amazing to just, be here on a Friday night. Last year, we didn't get past Wednesday. So just to be able to say, like, our team is playing Friday night, 5:30, like you said, Fox, against a nationally ranked team. I think we pull it off. If I had to score maybe like 73-65, I mean, it's hard to score it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to score it because, I mean, St. John's scored, like 80+ points today.
And we also can't shoot threes. And if we score and shoot, if we shoot more than 18 threes and don't make half of them, I mean, that's another issue too. We have to keep that in mind. Today we did pretty good. We only did 10 threes, but we didn't make half of them. We only went for 4 for 10, which has been a constant problem. We get it. They're not a shooting team, but still.
And last time against them, we only made 1 and we lost by 7. So it shows you, like, if and Ejiofor had a great game and only limited time. So if we can if you look at that game from last time and see like what necessarily needs to be different, if we can make a couple more threes, turn the ball over a little less. I mean, we had 9 turnovers. to there. I mean, they had the same amount of turnovers, but especially if we can score in transition, hit some more threes, then, who knows? I mean, it's everyone's game. I think Patino is probably, stressing because he knows the kind of intensity that a Seton Hall team brings. And, St. John's knows that they're going to be in the tournament. They're locked. They don't have as much to play for. And, for us, it's a lot. And you saw with Jacob Dar, he's a senior, a guy that went to Rice, I think played like Division 2 or 3 before that. But when you play on a stage like that, it really brings out the best in a player because they're realizing like this is your moment, this is your time. And Zuby Ejiofor won Big East Player of the Year. We know what everyone else in their team can do. I think the opportunity is really big for us, and I think they'll capitalize. But it's definitely going to be one of those games. It's a typical Seton Hall where you're going to be on the edge of your seat. But yeah, I mean, I think we do it. I wouldn't be surprised with any of the outcome, just the way the two teams play. But yeah, I think we do.
Yeah, and I think to head to March Madness again, obviously we know we have to win these games, but we need to play well and we need to show that we are a contender, that we don't let threes just happen. We don't just let, a lot of threes happen and we don't make half of them. I think that's another key factor in what's going to decide if we can make it or not. And again, we haven't had a big win from the major teams so far in Big East Conference play. Out of conference, yes, we've got those wins, especially in the Maui tournament. We should definitely show that. But in conference play, we haven't showed that against the UConns and the St. John's and the Novas, which are going to be coming up. And if we look at the rest of the Big East schedule heading into tonight, remember, we have Xavier, UConn. That's our first game on FS1 tonight. And then Georgetown, Villanova following right after. Another two games, which we will see tomorrow, who could be in the championship and who is in the semifinals as well.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly, and you set the stage. I mean, it's exciting for anyone that's going to be there tonight. It's going to be, you're going to see some really good basketball. I know the spreads are kind of, I think UConn was favored by like 15 or something.
Yep.
When you talk about spreads and stuff like that, but I mean they're a tremendous team. But yeah, I mean it's where you want to be. It's Friday night. It's the Big East. St. John's a very good team, but yeah, I mean either way, you have to be happy as a Seton Hall fan just to be in this position. We were picked 11th. At worst, we're going to finish 4th in this tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's a really good position. Yeah, look at us now, and
it's huge turnaround. And guess what? Yes, I know we have a short turnaround for tomorrow, but you could say we have the advantage. We're the first game tomorrow. They don't have to worry about who they're playing. They don't have to worry about nothing. They already know they're playing St. John's. They don't have to wait for tonight's two games to happen. All they got to do is just rest, practice, and prepare, and see what happens tomorrow. They have nothing to watch, nothing to wait for. There's no anticipation, if you think about it. So you could say that we got an advantage, sort of say, heading into tomorrow.
And we know this team well. I mean, on the flip, they know us well, but we just played them, and we know exactly what we did wrong in that last game, and we know what we did wrong, the game where we blew the lead. So, there's proof to show us what we have to do differently tomorrow. And the team knows that. It's just about, execution and if you can execute. And you mentioned, their 3-point shooting too. I think if we're able to, and I think the one thing that I'm really happy about this team is I think they're very resilient when other teams go on runs. They come back right away. I think tomorrow it's big too. If St. John's hits a big three, that crowd starts roaring. That's the moment where you have to fight back. You have to make tough shots. And, I think that will ultimately show really what the result is tomorrow. I think this team is capable of doing that against a St. John's team. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to be a good game. I think St. John's, we've played them twice. We know what we did wrong. I think, like you said, the film is just going to be, right now what we hope for is just a good 24 hours. You're watching film, you're eating what you have to eat. You have a good shoot around tomorrow, and mentally these players are just ready. Yeah. So that's all you can hope as a fan.
That's all you could hope for. And you also got to hope that Bud Clark and Jacob Dar put up the same numbers like they did today. They both put up 16 points today in today's game, as throughout the show we've been mentioning it. And if they can continue to play like they did today, I think Seton Hall will be good hands. Obviously, we'll want to see more from Stephon Payne and AJ St. McCray and Fisher. They averaged around 8 points today. Fisher had 9, McCray had 8. So we'll have to watch out for those two as well. But again, if Dar and Bud Clark continue to play like they did today, I think they got a good shot tomorrow.
And I think the Dar thing too definitely throws St. John's a little bit, because now you have to prepare for someone that you really weren't expecting to prepare for, and you don't know. And that's the great thing about having good depth is the opposing team doesn't really know who to prepare for. You know, they can try their best to prepare for Bud Clark or McRae or Payne or Hines or whoever, but you know that just throws another element at them that now it's like they have to do their film on Dart, and there's not a ton of film on Dart. It's just today, so it's that's going to be a situation where we can be a little sneaky, with giving them something that they're really not expecting from us. And I think we know everything about them at this point, but I think we can kind of give them a little surprise tomorrow. With how we come out, how we switch our lineup around. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. So
it really is exciting. So we will wait for tomorrow, I guess. Seton Hall, St. John's, 5:30 on Fox, and there will likely be another post-game show. Time to be determined and all that fun stuff.
We're going strong in March.
We're going strong in March, and it just started. And I'm just more pumped for Selection Sunday to happen. The theme song's already been playing in back of my head already. The March Madness theme, like I'm pumped, I'm ready to go, and Seton Hall's got to win, and that's all that matters.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Eli. This was tremendous. But yeah, well, I mean, we'll be back tomorrow. My dad will likely be on. So
yep, he'll be on. So yeah.
Yes, let's just bring that energy. Let's keep things the way they are. And yeah, I mean, overall, Seton Hall wins. As a Seton Hall fan, you have to be excited. You have to be proud. And tomorrow's going to be a big game. So if you can go, if you have the means to go tomorrow, definitely go. I know tickets are a bit pricey, but the guys, they play their heart out today. They've done it all season. So if you're on the fence about going, make that decision to go.
Absolutely, make that decision. Go for it. It's worth it. It's all worth it. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. And